Before any of you screams blasphemy on this one, I have to say, yes, I know Buffy is the only vampire slayer. But today, on the year of vlogging dangerously, day 150, Movie May draws to a close with the beginning of a trifecta of terrible in Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter. Yes, this movie is probably what I would consider one of the crown jewels of my collection, just because it's bloody horrible. Absolutely horrible. Even the blood is horrible in this movie. Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter is a 2001 flick shot in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, that just is ridiculous. Honestly, I don't think there's much more to say other than that. It was shot on a $100,000 budget, probably a grant from the government, and it shows that it's a low-budget horror flick. It does. The whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. The nobody in this movie you recognize. You won't recognize anybody. The only person with any type of name value was Johnny Vegas, who's famous only for having the same name as a guy from the UK's stage name and for being Mike McDonald's younger brother. And he's only in like one scene in the whole movie. The movie is basically the story, the age-old story of Jesus coming back to help fight the lesbian vampires who are stealing, or sorry, the vampires who are stealing lesbian skin so that they can walk in the day. Yeah, it's a classic. And along the way, Jesus teams up with Mary Magnum and El Santos, the saint of the wrestling ring. If you couldn't tell, this is one of my favorite movies just because it's fucking ridiculous as all hell. The movie is just awful. It was made in 2001, and yet the costume updates for Jesus were like from the 70s. For some weird reason, within 10 minutes of the movie, Jesus loses his iconic hair and beard and pierces his ears. There are a lot of things that just made no sense in this movie at all. But there's a lot that's just to love. To love in this movie, the ridiculous ways in which they stake vampires. There's an entire scene of vampire staking where about 30 vampires die in some of the stupidest ways you've ever seen vampires die. And just one little tiny spoiler, holy beer. Gotta love holy beer. Other than that, let's see, the initial fight scene on the beach has got its amusing factor to it. The priests that appear throughout the movie to bring Jesus back, they're a little bit over the top and weird. And, yeah, there's a whole scene where Jesus randomly determines he needs wood for stakes, so he goes to a thrift store to buy firewood. And while he's walking back to his apartment, he gets attacked by a van load of atheists. A clown car load of atheists, in fact. The atheists decide that he doesn't exist, so they need to kick his ass. Yeah, that makes sense. And he fights about 40 atheists in the goofiest kung fu sequence you've ever seen. Oh god, this movie has everything that's just not right in the world, and I love it for it. This is basically it. It's just fucking horrible, and that's awesome. Yeah. So tomorrow I will have for you yet another horrible movie that I'm going to watch at work tonight, and then I have a decision to make. Do I feature Plan 9 from Outer Space, or do I pull out something that's just dear god awful that I haven't ever watched, but oh god, it's going to hurt my brain? That question I'll leave up to you if you can answer that tonight or tomorrow. But, as usual, I have been the Serial Killer. Questions, comments, concerns, death threats, you know where to put them in the comment section below. And I will see you tomorrow.